Hey guys, it's me, 80s Words Together, so guys, where we reflect on the guys, everyone's favorite region, CONCACAF, guys. CONCACAF, guys. And you guys know this is the region I live in, and this is the region that I am the most passionate for of all the regions of football. So that being said, guys, let's go and get started with the confederation, guys. So obviously, guys, because there's only 8 nations here, I believe it is best to give each nation the proper amount of time that is needed to analyze each nation. And obviously, guys, this will come out to be probably a 20 to 30 minute segment here. So remember, guys, I'm going to be doing that. And remember, guys, the day you're watching this, I believe this is going to be uploaded on Wednesday. So I believe I'm recording on Tuesday. So just so you guys know, Thursday we'll do the live stream for the USA versus Mexico match preview. And I would love for you guys to join that preview if you can. Should start at 2 p.m. Eastern time. And I'll try to have as many people as I can on. Remember, guys, I can only have max of 6 people. And we should have the stream for around an hour length. Maybe an hour and 30 minutes at the very most. But yeah, an hour for most likely. Okay, so remember, guys, we'll be previewing the big match on Friday because this is going to be a big match, man. Big match. And I would love to have everyone that I would love to have as many people as I can for that stream. So make sure you guys stay tuned for that. And if you do want the link for the StreamYard thing, make sure you message me, do a private messaging with me on Discord or Twitter, whatever, and I'll send you the link. Okay? I might even put the link in the chat if there's not a lot of people. If there's a lot of people, then I probably won't. But if there is not that many, then I might consider. So let's just see how the audience turnout comes out. And make sure you guys remember, guys, to comment, like, and subscribe in this video. I do appreciate that. And if you're new around the channel, make sure you guys subscribe so you can get notified whenever I go live and whenever I upload. And make sure you guys turn the bell notification on so whenever I upload a video, you guys will get notified immediately. Or whenever I go live, you guys will get notified immediately. Anyways, enough of the introduction here. Let's move on to 8th place. So I'm going to start from bottom to top. And let's start with Honduras. Honduras, for me, have been one of the most disappointing nations in the CONCACAF region. And you look at the fact they scored 2 goals and conceded 10 goals is quite remarkable in 6 games. That is pretty sad. To concede 10 goals in 6 games, that's not really good. And you know what the crazy part about this thing is? Honduras had a great start of the qualifiers. Picking up a draw away to Canada, right? Then they played to a 0-0 draw on the road against El Salvador. 2 away games for them. And they had a big home game against the United States of America that have been very underwhelming, picking up 2 draws as well. And they were actually leading. They were actually leading in this game. We all know what happened. The USA did a massive turnaround in the second half. Berhalter made so many changes. Made 3 changes, I believe, at halftime. And USA ended up winning 4-1. Which USA were pretty fortunate to won 4-1 because I'll be honest with you guys, Honduras played a lot better than the USA for most of that match. It was really until like the final 20 minutes, the final 15 minutes where USA actually played really well. So, Honduras, they have to be kicking themselves. And then they had a 0-0 draw against Costa Rica at home in a game in which you would expect them to win. Well, I don't know about this one because, Keylor Navas there. San Pedro Sula. Then they played against Mexico, which they got absolutely thrashed, pounced. We all knew that they were no match for Mexico. Maybe draw if they can maybe do it, but no, it ain't gonna happen. And then they even lost to Jamaica at home. That just tells you everything about this Honduras national team. And if things have gone so bad, they even sacked their coach. Guys. And I believe their new coach, let's see who their new coach is. Their new coach is Hernan Dario Gomez. And so that's just crazy. The fact that they even had to sack their old coach just tells you everything that this Honduras team is going through. And this is a nation that I predicted would actually get 4th and actually make it to the playoffs. And right now, guys, we're picking up 3 points. 2 points from, 3 points, from 6 games is very, very poor. Very poor indeed. And Honduras, man, they're looking like they're going to either finish 7th or 8th, And I just think they have been very, very poor. They haven't been great, guys. They haven't really been great. So, hard luck to them, and hopefully they can rebound here because they have some big games coming up. Like, you look at match day 7 here. They have a game against Panama, in which if they could get a win, that would be amazing. Then they play away to Costa Rica, Canada, For me, the key for Honduras is that they have to win their home matches. Like, they have to pick up draws away from home. And if they can pick up wins and draws away, they put themselves in a really good position. Because it's not over yet. There's still 3 points, and it's not as if they're like out of this yet. But they have to start being consistent here, and 3 points from 6 games isn't very good. It's not. And I believe they're the only nation to have not even won a match in the octagonal so far. That's also another sad part about them. Moving on, seventh it is El Salvador. El Salvador, man. El Salvador. I have to say El Salvador have been decent. They've actually been pretty good. Now, I know people will say, how have they been decent? They're seventh in the table. Guys, this is a very competitive region. It's a very competitive region, and it's always going to be difficult for them. Always going to be difficult. And I just think the thing for me about El Salvador is the biggest issue they have is they cannot score goals. Scoring goals is a huge, difficult task for them. And I just think that if their goal scoring needs to improve, if they are really serious about making that World Cup spot or the playoffs, they have to start scoring more goals. They have to start scoring more goals. And I think this coach, he's done a great job with this national team. And I feel like they should keep this coach. I feel like they should. They shouldn't sack him. That is Hugo Perez. I think he's done a good job with this national team. Bringing them to where they are, getting to quarterfinals of the Gold Cup. Pretty impressive. And, they did hold the USA to a draw at home, in which they arguably played better. Got a 0-0 draw against Honduras. 3-0 loss to Canada. 0-0 draw against Costa Rica. And then lost 2-1 to Costa Rica. And then they lost against Mexico at home. So, I think for me, man, Honduras, man, not Honduras. El Salvador, man, I just think that the problem for me is their goal scoring. They cannot score goals to save their lives. And I just think that for me, that's going to ultimately bite them in the end. And ultimately see them miss out. But I do believe that they still have a good chance because, as I said before, guys, I think what El Salvador is doing is a really good project. I just think that they have to improve their goal scoring if they really are serious. And I just think that this is a team that is going to take some time. And I think 2026, they'll be able to qualify because of the fact that, USA, Canada, and Mexico will be hosting and CONCACAF will have more spots open. I think there'll be 5 nations that will represent CONCACAF. So, there'll be more spots open. So they have a better chance, I would say. I think 2022 is a bit too soon. And it's a bit too unrealistic, in my opinion. Okay? However, I could see them getting the playoffs because, as I said, they're on 5 points and Panama's only 3 points clear of them. So, it's going to be interesting to see how they do. Moving on, we got Jamaica. Jamaica. They have been another disappointing nation. Now, have they been as bad as... Are they the 6th best nation in the region? I would honestly argue no. I would honestly argue they are the 5th best. And for me, the thing about Jamaica is this. We knew that Jamaica always have these internal issues. We know Jamaica has issues with their coach, Theodore Whitmore. A lot of the European base players hasn't really performed. Like Mikel Antonio hasn't really performed. Leon Bailey, for example, etc. And I just think that for Jamaica in particular, they've had very unlucky results. You look at the first match day. They played against Mexico at home. Actually away. And a game in which they should have actually picked up a point. They should never have lost that game. And if it wasn't for poor game management, if it was for better game management, they'd probably pick up a point. Okay, that Panama game, they were completely thrashed. Panama game, they were completely thrashed, and there's no other way putting it. They deservedly lost that. Then they played against Costa Rica in a game in which they should have honestly won. I mean, you look at the amount of chances they had in the second half. They were great opportunities, and the fact they get a point away, even though it's a good point, you should still have won the match because of how many chances you had. And Nicholson's been one of their better players. And then obviously they lost to USA on the road, which was always going to be difficult for them, especially traveling away to the US. And, they had a good game in the first half, but it was the second half that USA just took them apart. And USA just outplayed the Jamaica in the second half. And then obviously they played against Canada at home in a game in which it was a fairly even game. And then they pick up a draw against Canada, which have been one of the more better nations of the octagonal, and then they lost. They won away at Honduras, which I think is a big win. So I think for Jamaica, man, it's been really, really good for them. I think that win against Honduras has given them life. Because prior to then, they were at 2 points, and I think that win has just changed everything. So, as I said, I still think they could qualify via the playoffs, but they have to improve a lot, especially in the defense. I think the defense has been really, really leaky at the back, and they have to improve upon that. And they have to start getting they have to start getting the European based players be more involved, because I think for me, Leon Bailey has been really underwhelming. He's been super underwhelming. That said, I don't think he's really played that much, so it makes sense in that sense, but still, And by the way, for El Salvador, man, that win against Panama, I should have mentioned this earlier. That win against Panama saved them a lot. That was a big win against Panama. That was probably one of the more shocks of the region because of how well Panama were doing in the September month, that was. So we'll obviously get to that a little later, but Yeah, very big win for them. And the Costa Rica guys, another nation that's also been very similar to Jamaica and El Salvador in the sense they have been very, very underwhelming. You know, and this is a nation that has so many veteran players, so many experienced players like Brian Ruiz. Then you have Keylor Navas that comes to mind. You have like so many other players that are veterans. I can't list all the players off the top of my head, but you get the point, guys. You get the point. And I just think that for Costa Rica, man, Navas has been incredible. Navas has honestly given Costa Rica life because honestly, if it wasn't for Navas, they probably don't draw or win those games. You know, and I think that win against El Salvador at home in a game in which they were trailing is so important for them to have won that match because it was such a big match. Although a big, big win. Although I did hear a lot of people say that penalty was a bit of a controversial penalty, shouldn't have been given a penalty. But yeah, as I said, and by the way, guys, Navas will be out for this month, guys. Navas will not be playing in the month of November, guys. Two big matches for Costa Rica. I think they play. Let's see who they play. They have Canada on the road, and then they play Honduras. So I think for Costa Rica, this could be a very tricky month for them. Very tricky indeed, because of how Navas is not going to be there. You know, that's a huge, huge blow for them, and we know how important Navas is for this national team. And without Navas, it's really not the same. Really not the same. So Costa Rica, man, they're still fifth place, 6 points, which is actually decent. You know, considering how many experienced players they have and how they've been struggling to incorporate the youth to the setup. I think that's pretty respectable. But as I said, it is. I think they're doing as I expected. You know, moving on fourth, we got is Panama. Panama. I was very impressed with Panama in the month of September. They were amazing. You know, picking up wins against Jamaica like that on the road was pretty phenomenal. I didn't expect them to do that, and they picked up a draw against Mexico in a game in which they were actually leading, and then they played to a draw against Costa Rica at home, in which they absolutely dominated Costa Rica. Absolutely did, you know. But then the month of October, things got really weird. You know, they lost to Costa Rica, not Costa Rica, sorry, El Salvador on the road, which I thought was a pretty big shock. And then they won against the USA, which was a pretty big win, and then they lost to Canada 4-1. So for Panama, man, I'm not really so sure what I make of them because if you had asked me in the September month, where would I rank them? I would have said that they were the best nation to have played the matches, you know. But my assessment of Panama has changed significantly. I'm not saying I think I'll say fourth just because of how the other nations have been doing. But man, Panama, I'm not really sure what's going on. Thomas Christensen is a really interesting team, and imagine they didn't even win against the USA. Imagine they actually didn't win that match. Imagine they had drawn or lost. You know, because USA put out their stupid 11. I don't know what Greg Berhalter was doing in the lineup. You know, so imagine Panama didn't even win that match. They could have potentially been on 5 or on 6 points, which would make things more different indeed. So for Panama, man, they were lucky to get 3. That was a pretty terrible month for them in the month of October, and they have to improve. I know they had 2 road games, but still, you know, with the way you were playing like that and the month of September, I expect a lot better from you. And so Panama, let's look at the fixtures they have coming up. They have Honduras on the road, which should be really interesting, and then they have El Salvador at home. So these are 2 games that Panama needs to pick up points, and they need to pick up 6 points if they are really serious about qualifying. And remember, guys, this is the nation that I actually predicted would finish dead last in the qualifiers, and they have actually proven me wrong massively. So I do have to give them credit, but I don't know if I can be sold on them just yet because this is a nation that I feel like is doing really well early stages and then they'll fumble towards the end. I am somewhat getting that kind of vibes from them, so I'm not very sold. Like I cannot say definitively what the fourth place nation, and that's the beauty of this CONCACAF World Cup qualifiers because I feel like for me, guys, the fourth place spot is open for any nation. I feel like every nation has, even Honduras, I would say he's still in this, and there is I feel like the top 3 is fairly obvious. We know the best 3 nations in CONCACAF are, but the fourth best, that's very for debate. That's very debatable, guys. I think that's a very open one, and it's gonna be really fascinating to see which nation gets a playoff spot from this confederation. So I originally predicted Honduras. They could still do it, but it's gonna be really tough for them. They have to have results go their way, and they have to start improving. You know, we now move on to the big 3, the best 3 nations in CONCACAF. And that is, of course, Canada, USA, and Mexico. Let's start with Canada. Now I know people will be disappointed, especially with Canada, especially with how many draws they've had. But you got to keep this in mind. A lot of the draws they've had, guys, has been on the road. They have played a lot of matches on. They have played. They've gotten a lot of draws away from home, which is really good. And the whole, if you could get a win at home and pick up a draw, 4 points, four times seven, you're putting yourselves at 28 points, which is pretty good. You should be able to qualify that amount of points. And I think Canada, they've done a fantastic job. John Herdman has done a great job with this team. And you look at what they did against Panama at home after losing trailing 1-0. That massive spark in the second was amazing. That Davis goal was incredible, guys. And I'm saying this right now, guys. I think Davis might just be the best player in CONCACAF right now. Just currently, just on current form right now, he is just incredible. And for me, man, Canada, man, it's going to be great to see them. And I did hear that Borjan will be back for this month, which I think will be very big for Canada because I believe they play against Costa Rica and Mexico. And especially that Mexico game, it's going to be really interesting. So for Canada, man, fantastic job indeed. And picking up draws away to USA Mexico on the road like that has been incredible. And I just think for Canada, man, they're looking really solid. I've been really, really impressed with them. And this is something I didn't expect them for me to say, but could they actually go unbeaten in the qualifiers? Could they actually go unbeaten? Now, I personally think they won't. I think they'll lose one of the games to like a Central American nation. I feel like a Honduras or like a El Salvador, maybe even a Jamaica, maybe even Costa Rica or something. I feel like one of these three nations will cause a shock result, but I think Canada will do very well. I think Canada will get like max 2 losses. Like they have been very, very good indeed. So I have to give a ton of credit to Canada, man. They have been impressive. And they are, this and one other nation has been unbeaten. So, yeah, and honestly, I think I think they might be the best nation in CONCACAF right now, just on purely just footballing wise. Just playing, just as far as entertainment is concerned, they might be one of the best. You know, Second, we got the USA. I'm a bit disappointed with the USA. And I know people will be surprised that I'm saying this, but I really am a bit disappointed because I feel like the USA, even though they are second and they're in a great position to qualify, obviously getting 11 points of 6 games, which is actually pretty solid, to be fair. But I expected a little bit better. I expected us to, do a lot better against El Salvador, and again, that's why we should have won. I'll accept the fact that we drew against Canada. We were probably fortunate to have drawn that game. And then obviously you look at the game against Panama. I don't think we should have lost that game. If we had put our best 11, I feel like we wouldn't have lost, and I feel like we would have been on 4 wins, and then maybe 1 draw, 1 loss, or actually 4 wins, and then up 4 wins and 2 draws right there. So we should have been like that, But it is what it is, And for the U.S. in particular, or 4 wins, yeah, 4 wins and 2 draws. There we go. Okay. But for the USA, man, we have to do a lot better. I think for me, guys, this U.S. men's national team has been really based on individuals that have saved us, and I've already said my piece on every single U.S. men's national team game, which I'll put a playlist down below. I'll put it up here, guys, so you guys can look that in the top right of the screen. And I also have the World Cup Qualifiers. You guys can check out every other region confederation I've done. But I think for the U.S. in particular, I just think that for Greg Berhalter in particular, we have to improve. We have to improve as a team. And even though we have been getting the results, we haven't really been that convincing when it comes to actual team. And I'm saying this right now, guys. I'm saying this right now. If we don't really improve as a collective unit, it's going to be very difficult for us to do very well in the World Cup. It's going to be very difficult because we're going to be facing the best of the best there. If we're struggling against the nations like Honduras and El Salvador and these kind of nations, it's going to be very difficult for us to do amazing in the Qatar World Cup. That is. And my expectation for the U.S. is just to reach the group stage, and that's my minimum expectations. And I just think that for the U.S. in particular, there's so much talent that we have, and we have to utilize the talent. And this is a big month for the U.S. We have Mexico and Jamaica on the road. These are 2 massive games for us, and there is a potential possibility that USA can may not even pick up a point whatsoever. And this is probably one of the more roughest months for us for the U.S. So, yeah, man, obviously I'll make more videos related to this, specifically about the U.S. for the match previews. You can watch that for more extensive details, but here I'll just be very concise and brief in that we have to play much better. We have to play much better than this, and we've been fortunate to have gotten some of the results. We've been fortunate to have individuals step up for us. And then we got the best nation in CONCACAF according to the qualifiers, and that is Mexico. Mexico, for me, they have picked up 4 wins and 2 draws. They've been pretty good. I will give them that. However, even though they are the best nation, they have picked up the most points. I wouldn't really say they've been the most impressive. And the reason I say that is because a lot of the games Mexico has been playing has been very underwhelming. Like, minus the El Salvador Honduras games, I don't really think they've been that convincing. Like, against Canada, they were not that convincing in, and Canada probably should have won that match. Panama, they weren't really that convincing in. Then against Costa Rica, they just scored from a penalty. Then against Jamaica, they just won it right in the end. So, even though Mexico are top of this, and even though they're unbeaten, Tata Martino has done a great job of this team. I just feel as though that Mexico are still not the same. I still think that Mexico are the decline. I still believe that they have too many Liga MX players and too many veterans, and I think it could be the undoing. And I think they're going through a downward trajectory. Obviously, I don't think they'll be affected here, but I do believe that Mexico needs to have more prospects. They need to have more prospects, and obviously, I'll dive more deep into Mexico in the live match preview that will be coming up soon on Thursday. But yeah, man, for Mexico, man, I just think that for me, man, I think the introduction of Raul Jimenez is back. I think he brings so much to this team, and I think he is the reason why Mexico are in this position right now. Because without Raul Jimenez, man, I think Mexico would be really struggling as far as the goals and assists concerned. Because let's be real, Funes Mori is not that great, and Mexico's other players hasn't really been that consistent. I just think that for me, he's a very important player for this team. So that's pretty much it for today, guys. Just to give you guys my quick thoughts on the qualifiers. I still am firm belief that USA, Mexico, and Canada will qualify. As for the fourth place, I am not sure whatsoever. I think that fourth place, it could be any nation. If I had to put my money on it, if I had to make a prediction right now, I would say Panama just about, but I wouldn't be surprised to see them miss out because I'm not really too sold on Panama just yet. So that's it for today, guys. Make sure you guys check out me and my other have the list in the description below. And make sure you guys comment and subscribe. And I'll see you guys later. Peace out.